Hello, this is Ariana Antonio from Mobile Game Development 1411, and this is my Week 2 project review. So I'll just go ahead and show off the game really quick. This is my main menu screen. Obviously this still needs some work. It'll have the name of the game at the top, and the play button will probably be an image rather than just the word play. So this is just it for now. And then we can go ahead and actually hit play, and the game will start. And you have to dodge the log. That's a collision, and try and keep the fish upright by taps. If he gets too close to the bear or gets hit by the log, then he dies. And so you can go ahead and replay it and see that if I get hit by the log, I also die. So that's another touch collision, and it kept firing because the game was still technically going and he was still colliding, and then he was colliding with the bear. So anyway, so obviously there's plenty of adjustments to be made in terms of the end of game event. I will eventually also have logs rather than just one starting at the top when you begin. They'll be randomly generated as you play. And right now the difficulty isn't set to too hard. I'll probably, before the end, make it start a little even easier than it is now. And then as the game goes on time-wise, kind of ramp up the difficulty and cause the fish to drop a little harder earlier. So what I found most valuable this week would be the information about the linear interpolation. Before I had my characters just moving around with gravity, and that didn't always work properly when moving things around, and with the objects colliding. If they collided instead, gravity would affect them, and they would just go bouncing off the screen somewhere or something like that, which obviously isn't what I wanted. So the linear interpolation kind of fixed that and had them just going exactly where I wanted them in an interval based on time, which is exactly what I'll be able to modify. I have here the scroll speed at 60, so I can slow that down to 30, and the fish will be really easy to keep ahead. And then make it more difficult. I had it on 80 earlier, and it was almost impossible. No matter how fast you tapped, he went down and died. So that will be the variable that I'll eventually mess around with. Most challenging would probably be the collision events, and that's actually not that the collision's really that difficult, but I apparently wasn't loading my files up properly. So everything was loading in here and working and moving like it was supposed to, but it wasn't detecting the collisions because my sprites weren't just hooked up between Sprite Builder and Xcode properly. So it took me a while to kind of get that working, and once it did, suddenly the collisions were firing. And that was great, and actually, in the end, fairly simple to implement. In terms of clarification, I don't think there's really much I needed clarification on. This week was fairly straightforward. Again, a lot of it was just pounding out the actual code and getting all the hookups and connections to work. But I pretty much understood the things that were being taught. I'm not sure if I would have done anything differently. I still obviously need to work with the assets. They're not perfectly lining up. Like, this is supposed to be in the center, or this whole thing is supposed to be centered, whereas you can see that it's a little bit bigger on this side, a little bit bigger on this side. I also still need to add in the collision events with, I need to make these physics objects so that he can collide with the side walls or with the top, and he will stop. He won't be able to go past these points, whereas right now if you kept playing, you could potentially get him up into the sky or off on side onto the deer or something. So those are little things that I still need to work on to kind of fine-tune the game. As well as obviously plenty of the more advanced features and a timer and a high score and an end game that really pops up, that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of work to be done, but this week I still think went fairly smoothly in terms of getting those features in there. So that's about it. Can't wait to show off what I've got next week. Thanks. Bye.